Hello everyone, welcome to a video series on design patterns in Python. In this series, we'll discuss about different patterns which talks about various reusable solutions which helps to solve different issues which we face in software development process. So before we get into design patterns, first we have to understand basics of object-oriented programming concepts. So first I'll explain about these topics in brief, then we can get into actual design patterns. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the object-oriented programming concept. So first thing is object. So in object-oriented programming, everything will be treated as an object. Uh, so for example, person is an object, book, pen, computer, animal, etc. So in object-oriented paradigm, everything will be treated as an object. So object basically will have two things. One is attribute, and the second part is behavior. So uh, if I have to say with respect to a programming language, attribute will be represented as a data and behavior will be represented as a method. So let me take one example. Let's consider person as example. So attribute, person's attribute uh, can be name, age, height, okay, and let me mention this as attribute, and behavior can be like read, write, walk, etc. So these will be represented as methods. So before an object is created, class needs to be created for that. So class is nothing but it acts as a template using which an object will be created. In simple terms, I can say a class is nothing but a user-defined data type created by the programmer. Okay, let me take an example of person as class, and for the class type person, let me name objects as person 1, person 2, and person 3, and so on. So a class having its own attributes and behaviors will represent a data type using which any number of objects can be created. So this supports reusability, which means like any number of objects can be created of a particular class type. Let's see this example through code. Before switching to code, there are two things which needs to be installed. One is Python and next one is code editor. I'll be using Visual Studio Code. You can choose whichever code editor which is comfortable to you. So I'll leave links in the description below for these two softwares to be downloaded. Okay, so I have created a folder called design patterns. Here, let me open the command prompt in this path, and I'll launch Visual Studio Code here. So to open that, type code space dot. It will open up in the current path. Okay, so here let me close this welcome page. So to create a new file, you can see here inside the Explorer window, new file option. Click on that and give a name to your file. I'll name it as op.py. Okay, so here let me start by creating a class person. Okay, for now let me create an empty class. So in Python, we cannot just write an empty class and just skip it. We have to specify with pass keyword so that to mention that the class is empty. Okay, so now let me create an object of person by instantiating it. Okay, so this will create an object, and if I print person 1, we can see an address will be associated with it. So here, uh, this will be the terminal. You can, if it is not opened, you can go to this terminal option, and you can click on this new terminal. Okay, then uh, type python space filename.py. So here you can see an address is associated uh, from the print statement from line number 6. So whenever an object is created, only then a memory will be allocated to it. So class is nothing but it will be like a user defined data type. So no memory will be allocated whenever a class is defined. Okay. So suppose if I create one more object of person type, say person2, and if I print person2, so here now you will see, let me save it. You'll see two different addresses for person1 and person2. That means to say like two different memory. The person1 and person2 will be pointing to two different memory addresses, because whenever an object is created, a new memory will be allocated to it. So when I run this, you can see here the first one has last four digits as 8160, and the second object has 8298. So in this way, we can create n number of objects. Okay. So now let me clear this up, and I'll explain about constructors. So I'll add a print statement here inside it. Okay. So init is a keyword in Python. So it is a special method which is used for initializing an object's initial state. That means it acts as a constructor. So whatever the data the class is holding, it can be used to initialize those data. So for now, I'll just explain like how it works. So whenever an object is created, the init will be internally called automatically. So now let me remove this print statements, and see here the object is getting created in line number 5 and line number 6. So but init is not called by programmer anywhere here explicitly. So it will be called internally whenever an object is created. So if I run this, you can see that inside init will be printed twice. Yeah, so the constructor will be called internally within Python. Programmer need not worry about it. So whenever an object is getting created, the constructor will be called automatically. Okay, so now I did not say about this self keyword. Self keyword represents this is similar to this keyword in C++ or uh, Java. So self keyword will pass the reference of whatever the object is getting created, so that each object will have its own memory address. With this, the init method will know which object needs to be initialized. Okay, so if the right, this can be also rewritten in this way: person dot init person1. This is what internally happens. Like person1 reference is passed to the init method. This is done internally in Python. So now if I let me comment this, and you can see both will work. uh, if I run this, it will be printing still twice inside init. Okay, so self is nothing but reference passed for that object. Self is not keyword. This is just like convention followed in Python. We can give any name for self, but standard convention is self keyword is self word is used. So I can change it to anything. Example, I'll give it as this, and it should still work. Okay, so let me go back. If suppose if I remove self, I'll get an error saying init takes zero position arguments but one was given. That means here when we call this internally, one argument is passed as a parameter. So self is a must for any methods within a class. Okay, then I've explained about constructor. So okay, so instead of just creating a plain constructor, let me pass name and age to initialize the initial state of the object. So let me remove this and let me create two data within the class called name and assign the name to the data name, and self dot age can be assigned from age. Okay, and while creating object, I'll pass name and age here. So let me type a name and a number age. Okay, and here let me type another name and another age. Okay, okay, so if I print person one dot name, it should give John. Yeah, and if I print person two dot name, so it should give Peter. Okay, so usually will not be directly accessing the name and the age. That means the data members. We'll actually have methods to set and get. So since here we are already setting it through constructor, we can add a method called get name with self as parameter to pass the reference of that object, and then just return self dot name. Similarly, we can write a method called get age and pass self, which will return self dot age. So instead of directly accessing, I can access it using get name method, and to get age, I'll call get age method. So you can see this will print John and 25. So similar way we can access same thing. So the main intention of creating classes and object is nothing but grouping all the related data and behavior into a single entity called class, then reuse that class to create as many objects as we want. So that was about class, objects and methods. I'll continue the remaining topics of object-oriented programming concepts in the next video. So thank you for watching.